day, everyone. This is Patrick from EasyFX Code Trading System, and it's Saturday, the 27th of February, 2021. And this is the weekly analysis for the Euro, the Cable, and the Aussie dollar for the first week of March. And across all the major pairs, you can see after peaking in the midweek, and it has started to retrace significantly. And this was because the US dollar started recovering also midweek. Let's begin with the euro. And the euro climbed from the 121 level, which was the interim support level, climbed to hit the 50% fib again and the monthly pivot before attempting to cross over the rising trend line, but peaked out at a high of 122.43 before a strong pullback, and then continuation of Friday lower. Is almost like a shooting star, although there's a bit of wick on the Friday, but clearly rejection from the above 122s and pull back strongly and retrace below the 121.00 level and below the daily 55 EMA. All right, so this 50% fib on that longer time frame has been a significant level, and it has not been able to sustain the level above it. So let's take a look again at this long-term fib retracement, which is from the 2014 and climbing back up into this range again above the monthly 200, but still struggling to gain traction above the 50% fib here. All right, let's we can also likely remove the this fib here, and let's mark the most recent swing. So we can take a look at the retracement after hitting this high, and it has struggled to climb back out above the 21 fib retracement and pull back to the 38 fib. All right, and this coming week we'll see if there's a continuation of this bearish retracement, and it could also continue down to test the 120 level, and perhaps down to this 50% retracement of this recent swing up at 119.76. Right, this week there's only a couple of final PMI figures, similar to UK and the US as well. So as an interim, the resistance is at 121. It's unlikely that it's going to climb back up to test the 50% fib at this point. So this should provide some resistance, and before this makes its way down to the 50 fib. All right, let's take a look at the cable. And the cable as well made a massive move on Wednesday, early Wednesday, and ran up over 100 pips, 120 pips to hit a high of 142.36 before a strong pullback. And then Thursday struggled a bit to try to maintain the bearish momentum, but failed and pull back lower to 140 before continuation move on Friday back down to 139. So over 300 pips move down. And this spike up was triggered mainly from the US dollar index. I'll show you in a while what potentially could have triggered this. And it's not really a clean shooting star because it did not drop straight away. It's been trying to struggle to fight above that. But anyway, the resistance now is at 140 and it has hit 139. That's the current support. It could stretch out lower this coming week to test the 138, which is at this 138 fib here as well. I think we can clean up most of these fibs now. This was the reversal, and it hit the 142 area right at the 262 fib extension. So we can also update the fibs to also show the extension, the retracement of this move now. And let's clear the other longer term one. So we can either take from this one here, and it's attempting to retrace back to 38 fib retracement. Just down to this fib at the just above 138. So this area will be a key support. All right. And if that gives way, there's eventually it could attempt to drop down to the 50 fib retracement area. That's just below 137. But we'll see how it goes next week. It also needs to drop below this trend line. And let me go down to a shorter time frame to show you this spike on Wednesday on the 1 hour. This was the move on the Wednesday here at 9 a.m. on the 1 hour time frame, but actually it started moving at 9:20. And let me show you the US dollar index and what happened at the open of the US dollar index candle at 9 a.m. So if I go to the 1 hour time frame as well, this is the Wednesday where it gapped down. There's a slight gap down here. And dipped lower, which created a trigger for the Aussie dollar and the pound to spike up. And this US dollar index closes at 6 a.m. every day, or 6 a.m. in Singapore time, 5 p.m. in New York, and reopens at 9 a.m. in Singapore. All right, so that's a gap of 3 hours there. So this spike down triggered a move both pound and the Aussie dollar. And after that, it struggled to stay above 141 and eventually gave way later on Thursday and then Friday night as well. All right, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. So the Aussie dollar continued to thrust its way towards the 0.800 that I mentioned last week. It spiked through the 162 fib of this reversal and stretched out just to spike the 80 level before pulling back and retracing and falling back hard to the 50 fib, right, to 0.7700. So 300 pip drop over a couple of days for the Aussie dollar. So this retracement is due since a couple of weeks ago when the RBA minutes came out, and when they already announced that they were extending their QE, following the other central banks, and this was overdue, but it was supported with US dollar weakness. But once the US dollar started to turn, then it took advantage to just spike the 80 and before falling back down. And this made a high of 0.8007, just 7 pips above this 00 level. So we can also move this fib to show this retracement. We can just swing it around. So yes, cross all the way past the 62% fib and attempting to reach the daily 55 EMA, just above the 786 fib retracement. So this is a very strong retracement. And coming up next week is also the RBA rate decision, so it could be also preparing for that announcement. Wednesday, there's Australian GDP figures. They could be, Aussie dollar could be positioning itself for next week's key news event. So there is support at the 76 fib near the daily 55 EMA. If it weakens further, then it may test this swing low at 0.7560 area. But otherwise, once it hits support, it could be around the 0.76, then it could just as well consolidate within this zone here. All right, and next week we'll see what the new weekly pivots and new monthly pivots are for all the pairs. Okay, so we'll see how the US dollar reacts and see whether it recovers. Let's take another look again at the US dollar index on the daily time frame. And on Thursday, it did attempt to drop lower below this key support, but managed to bounce back up with a hammer on Thursday and a gap up on a Friday to reach this interim resistance again at this previous swing high. It dipped below the 90 level, but bounced back up. So we'll see if it's able this week now to attempt to reach this swing low. It did recover quite strongly, so there could be some momentum. It has been struggling for 2.5 weeks so far, so it's attempting to recover next week. All right. So do check out my other videos on spot gold and dollar yen as well, and have a safe and good week, a good trading week ahead, and cheers for now.